Hello and welcome to Matrix IT's Cybersecurity Fundamentals course. This module is on password managers. My name is Frank Fazio and I will be your instructor. All right, password managers. I've done a module on passwords. In it, I said two things. Well, I said more than two things, but the two things you should remember. Number one, the password you use every day for work in your office needs to be unique. Do not use it anywhere else, okay? And also based on number one. Number two, do not reuse your passwords, okay? If you have all these online accounts that you're trying to keep track of, and you use the same password over all your online accounts, if one of those websites gets hacked and that password gets out, now somebody can log into every one of your accounts because you have the same password. Now I have, last count because I looked it up, I have 220 passwords I'm trying to keep track of. And I'm trying to remember. There's no way that I'm going to be able to use different passwords. I mean, I've tried everything. I tried using patterns and phrases, and I couldn't do it. Could not do it. There's just too many passwords I had to remember, and they have to be unique. So I have a password manager, and this module is basically showing you what a password manager is, how it works, stuff like that. Okay, so we have a definition of a password manager. A password manager is an app on your phone, tablet, or computer that stores your passwords, so you don't need to remember them. Once you've logged into the password manager using a master password, it will generate and remember your passwords for all your online accounts. All right. Operative word. I'm going to go with remember. There's no way you can remember all your passwords. So this will do it for you. It will also generate your passwords. Out of the 220 passwords, I don't think I know any of them. I think 99% of my passwords I don't even know. And I'll explain what I mean by that. There's only a few that I have to keep track of. One of them is my master password. Okay, a master password. If you want to run your password manager, you have to put in a master password. Otherwise, the computer will not use those passwords. Okay, it's a security thing. If somebody's on your computer and you don't want them to log into your things, yeah, you need a master password to get in. Okay, so we only have to remember one password instead of my 220. All right, so if I wanted to see what a password manager looks like, all right, I found this on the internet and I stole it and I'm showing you it. So your app sits on your desktop, your app sits on your tablet, and your app sits on your mobile. They all communicate through what's called a password vault. All right, so all your passwords sit up here and they all get accessed by these. So if you're on your desktop and you're on the Yahoo site, the yahoo.com, and you have to log in, and you go to the login page and it says, okay, what's your username? What's your password? Your password manager will sense that, will go up to the password vault, see if you have a password that you've set up a password already in there for Yahoo. And if you have, it will automatically fill in the username and password for you and possibly log in. It's an option. You can have it auto log in for you. Now, a couple things. I know what you're going to say. The first thing you're going to say is, if all your passwords are in the cloud, what happens if it gets hacked? And yes, there is a saying in the hacker community, if a man can make it, a man can break it. Right? And it's not a man, it's a person. If a person can make something, another person can break that. Okay? So a couple things. First of all, they would have to hack into the password vault, which is going to be difficult in itself. But once they get in the vault, all the passwords in the vault are encrypted. So not only do you have to break into the vault, you actually have to decrypt all of the passwords, and that takes a ton of time. Is it possible? Of course, anything's possible. I'm not going to say, no, it's impossible, because tomorrow could happen and then all of a sudden I look like a fool. But chances are good that It's not going to be anytime soon before somebody can figure out all those passwords. And if they did, you would get a notice on your phone or on your laptop or desktop and tablet saying, these emails have been compromised, and change them. And all you do is change them. Okay? That's the first thing you're going to say. The second thing you're going to say is, what if I'm not online? What if I don't have access to the internet, right? Because this is online, I'll reach out. A lot of the password managers, the more popular ones, have offline storage onto your computer or to your phone. They have a copy, and they allow, if you can't get to the password vault itself, it'll access an offline storage on your phone or your tablet or your desktop. All right. Okay, so let's look at some pros and cons to a password manager. Okay, number one, it's easy to create long, complex passwords because you don't have to remember them, and that's what I do. When I have to create a password, I just go to my password manager and I ask it to generate a password that's 20 characters long, and I don't care what it is, numbers, letters, symbols, just put it all together, smash it up. I don't want to know. Just I'm going to use that as my password. You just remember it for me. So you can actually create up to 40 characters long on your password, and it'll remember it for you. You don't have to deal with it. So it's easy to create these, and I'm going to show you how to create them. You can auto log in. If I go to yahoo.com and the username and password boxes come up saying, okay, you got to log in. Password manager will fill them in for me and will log in for me. So I don't even have to do anything. It'll just boom, boom, I'm in. Okay, that's an option you can turn on. If you turn it off, it'll fill in the username and password, and then you can click login. It's up to you. Okay, but it does have the option to auto log. It also can store your secret questions, your password recovery questions. So if a website asks you, if you've set up secret questions like, what's your best friend's name, or what was the street you grew up on, or what grade school did you go to, stuff like that. You can actually store those in the password manager so you don't have to remember them. Okay, and yes, you would remember those things, but I mean, it's nice to have those because some of the things, that I use a capital, did I not use a capital, and did I put a space, and it'll remember that for you. Also, it can restore other information for you. So in my case, I've put my address into my password manager. So when I go and let's say I have to put my shipping information in on a website, it will sense that it's asking for my address, my postal code, and it will fill it in for me. Okay, so I don't have to type it in every single time. Now, one thing I don't use is credit card numbers. Now you can actually, and some of the one I use, you can actually store your credit card in the password manager. So whenever there's a box that say, what's your credit card number, it fills it in for you automatically. I don't do that. I'm still not at that stage where I want my password manager with all my credit cards. Works on multiple devices. So you can, there's free version and there's paid versions, and a lot of them work differently, but the free versions, sometimes the free versions will only allow you to have it on one device. If you pay, and it's only a couple bucks a month, if you pay, you can have actually multiple devices. You can have your phone, and you can have, and they share. So if I'm on my laptop and I actually create an account, let's say I go to Delta Airlines and I don't have an account yet, but when I create that account, and I go through the process of, generating a password and all that, the password manager remembers that and then sends it to my cell phone. So my cell phone then would have that password, even though I never did anything on my cell phone. So it will do that for you on multiple devices. Also, you can share with family members. One of the big things is when people pass on, all those accounts still are open. They don't get closed out. So because there's a master password, to get your password manager to work, you need to put a master password in. If you give that master password to your kids, or put it, let's say, in a safety deposit box, that's a better example. If you take your master password for your password manager and you put it in a safety deposit box and give a key to your lawyer, and you pass on, in the will, that the lawyer will give the key to the next of kin. They can go and they can get that master password. They can log in to the password manager, and they can close out all the accounts that person had. Okay, so you can share with family members, or if you have family accounts, right? I mean, if like the Netflix or the Amazon account is the family account, everybody can access the same thing, right? Everybody gets the master password and they can all use it on their computers. You only need to remember the master password. Don't lose the master password. If you lose the master password, you can't get in. All right. You can generate passwords, or like I said, I'm going to show you how to do that. One of the cool things is that these password managers will access the dark web, or they have access to the information on the dark web. And if they see your password being out there, it'll let you know. Okay, and I'm going to show you an example of that. So it's constantly checking your accounts and your passwords to make sure that they're not been exposed. If they have, it'll let you know. You just change them. It's not a big deal. So those are the pros. Okay, a lot of pros. The cons: single point of failure. If that master password gets out, then they have access to your password manager, right? And they have access to all your passwords. And also, if you're worried about the cloud getting hacked, that is also a single point of failure. Now, this doesn't work on all websites. Some websites will not allow a password manager to fill in the username and password. So you'd have to do it manually. You'd have to go in your password manager. You have to look at what your password is and then type it into the thing. But these are far and few between, but not all websites will allow you to use the password manager. This is only going to work through the web right now. Some apps will allow you to do that on your phone, but when you do use a password manager, it's actually built into your web browser. And you can actually use it through that. On your cell phones, you can actually get the password manager to log in on certain apps, all right? But the majority of them work with web logins. If you lose your master password, you've got problems. That's the only way you can get back into your password manager, is if you have the master password. And that's for security purposes, because if other people are using your laptop or your phone or your tablet, you do not want them logging into your accounts. You need a master password to log in to start the process to use your accounts or to use your passwords. All right. Pros, cons. All right, here's what it looks like. Here's what a password manager looks like. So once we start it up, it's going to show all your accounts here. All right. And this one, I apologize if you can't see it. I couldn't enlarge it anymore. Acer, Adobe, Airbnb, Amazon, American Airlines, American Express, Apple, all that kind of stuff. So you see all your passwords here, or not your passwords, your accounts. And it'll show you what username you're using. And in this example, it's a Gmail account. What category and last used. Okay. On the side here, you've got your passwords. Okay. You can have secure notes if you have information you want to put in there and encrypts it for you. Personal info, payments, IDs. Payments is where you put your credit cards. IDs is where you put your phone number, your address and phone numbers and stuff like that. Password health, dark web monitoring is at the bottom. But what I want to show you is the add new button up at the top here. Okay. So if you want to add a password here, okay, let's say we want to add a password. What we can do is we can click that button. And if we click the button, it says here, add a login. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to type in the website name. All right, that you're on. I put yahoo.com here. You're going to put your username in here. All right, whatever your username is, whether it's an email address or just a username. And then you're going to put your password in here. Now you can put your password, anything you want in here. Okay, you don't have to remember it. But there's a generate password button right here to the side. I'm going to show you what that does in a minute. This will just say no category. Now the preferences automatically log me into this website is right here. And again, if you can't read it, that's what it says. Automatically log me into this website. It's on. It's turned on. And once you turn it on, it'll automatically log in for you as soon as you get to the website and you want to log in. You don't have to push any buttons. Autofill and then require master password. You can actually require master password. If you turn this on, every time you use a password manager, it'll ask you for that master password. But usually you only have to do it once. Turning this on, you need to type master password for this particular one, or every single time you use it. Okay, so you want to add a login. So let's say, and this is what I do. Okay, when it comes to generate passwords, I click that button, and here is the fancy schmancy password it came up for me. So what I've told it to do is you can slide this back and forth, this slider, okay, and there's 4 characters or 40 characters. I picked somewhere in the middle, 20. So I want every password that it generates for me to be 20 characters long. I want letters, digits, and symbols. Similar characters, I don't really use that much. So letters, digits, and symbols, and I click use generated password. It will sit and it will give me a password up here. Okay, and it will use this password to log in for me. Okay, and I just take this when I create the account, put this in here, and it's done. So I'm going to add a login for Yahoo, put this as my password, and I never have to remember it again. It does it for me automatically. And this is not one of my passwords, so if you're going to try to figure out and go to Yahoo and try to log in as me, that's not my password. It's just, you can try, but it's not my password. Okay, so that's what it is. That's why I say I don't know 99% of my passwords, because I use this method and all my passwords look like this. It's just mumbo jumbo of letters and numbers. I don't care what it is. Just log me in when I get there. Cool. So when I talked about dark web monitoring, this is an example. I actually have one that's been exposed. So what it does, it actually looks through my my passwords. And apparently I blocked out my email address here. I didn't want you guys to start messing with my accounts. Cafe Press. Apparently I have an account there. I don't remember making it, but apparently one day I made in this account, and that username and password is on the dark web, and I just haven't changed it yet. Okay, it was breached, and it tells you where it was breached. So it'll show all the accounts that you have, and it'll let you know when you need to change it, and you just go and change it. Yeah, I would go to Cafe Press, I would log in, and I would change it, and then I would put the change in my password manager. Okay. So what it looks like on the web. So here I am. I've gone to a website. I only took the login screen, but I'm on the web. I go and I need to log in. Let's say this was, I can't remember what this was. It's probably not Yahoo. I can't remember. But anyways, I go on the web. I need to log into my account. All right. You have an account, please log in. Right. So you notice here it asks for my email address and asks for my password. See the thing here? That shows that I have my password manager on. And if I click on here and here, it'll fill it in automatically for me because I don't have that autofill turned on. So I control that. So I click here and it fills that in for me. I click here and it fills that in for me. And then I click login and it logs me in. I don't even know what this is. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you go onto the internet and you are need to log into your account. All right, so I showed you that this is what what it looks like through the app. Okay, that's the app, and it shows all these things here. Let's say Acer here. Okay, and this is what it looks like if I need to use it. Okay, I'm going to log into, let's say I'm logging into the Acer website. All right, I click on this, it fills it in from that password manager you just saw, fills it in from the password manager you just saw, and logs in. Okay. So protecting ourselves, there's a couple things. When we create a master password, we need to create a strong, long master password. Now, if you remember from my module on passwords, the best way to do this is to create a phrase. Okay, don't use like a one-word password. Use a phrase. Use a number of words together. I don't know if spaces are going to work in this one, but just use a number of words put together. Okay, you got to make it strong because if somebody figures it out, they have access to all your passwords. Do not forget your master password. If you forget your master password, you're going to have a very, very difficult time getting into your accounts. The master password I have memorized that thing. I cannot forget that, because if I forget that password, I don't know what my passwords are in my accounts. Use a password generator to create passwords. Don't fill the manager with weak passwords. I showed you how you can generate passwords that are just 20 characters. I don't need to know it. Just log in for me. Okay? Don't put Apple123 in a password manager. There's no point. And actually, if you tried to do that, I think it would let you know that that's probably not a good password, because it tries to see what you're putting in, and it'll do green as, oh yeah, that's a really cool password. And that password is so strong, you won't ever, it'll be very hard to hack. And then it'll be red. No, you can't use that password because it's too easy. So if you put Apple123, it'll turn red saying, yeah, I don't think you want to use this password. Throw some extra words on it and get, that color to turn green kind of thing. So it'll alert you on the password strength. And if your password manager notifies you of a breach, you change the password. Okay, you don't have to freak out or anything along those lines. Just change the password. So that's what a password manager does. All it does is it remembers your passwords, and when you go to that website, it automatically logs in for you if you want it to, or it automatically fills in your username and password for you, and you can log in for yourself. And like I said, if you pay, you'll get multiple devices. If you don't pay and you want a free one, maybe it'll limit you to maybe 10 passwords, and you might only be able to use it on one device instead of multiple. All right. So with that, stay safe, stay frosty, and I will see you in the next module.